See, the flute was very powerful. You know why? Well, because they had thousands of cows to take care of. And they had to group them, they had to, because certain cows get along better with other cows. Certain kind of cows come together and they kind of work together and stuff, they get along, families and things like that. So he would have a particular note or a song to gather one group of cows to bring them. So if he wanted that group over there, he'd play a certain song or a certain note, and then they would come over to him. And then there would be another group, and then he would gather them, and then they would bring. And so that's how he was able to call them through his flute. Isn't that incredible? Like this flute was unbelievable. And so, and then he would sometimes sit underneath a fruit tree, and he would be playing this flute, and it would be so enchanting that you'd see the boughs of the tree bend down and give him the fruit. And he'd pick a piece of fruit, like a peach. By the way, we've got peaches here from a tree, fresh peaches for Prasad. He'd take the peach right off the tree, and he'd say, "Thank you." And he would eat the peach. That's the flute, right? Then he would start playing a different tune, and then suddenly the peacocks would come, and they would like gather around him, and then they would start showing their tail, right? Beautiful tails. You've seen there are peacocks right around here. Oh yeah, right down the street. You can sometimes hear them. If you walk right down the street, you can hear the sound. I think Krishna must live in these woods up here by the mountains, these hills. So peacocks came, they'd hear the flute, and and they were just so entranced that they started coming around him, showing their feathers, and then one of them thought to himself, "I love this Krishna so much, but I don't know what to give him. I want to give him something as a token of my love, but I have nothing to give." And then he thought, oh, and then the peacock gives his feather to Krishna. And then Krishna is so moved by this sort of sign of devotion, sign of sweet love, The peacock would be doing this. That he took the feather and he said to the peacock, "I promise that I will always wear this peacock feather in my hair as my adornment." And so therefore, when you look at pictures of Krishna, inevitably you see the peacock feather in his hair, and usually you see the flute, him holding the flute.